The room was dark, except for the faint glow of the streetlight bleeding through the blinds. My wife lay beside me, her breathing steady, her back turned, as though the wall was more comforting than the man she had once sworn to love. My throat tightened as I whispered into silence. "Do you love him?" The question hung in the air, heavy, sharp, and unrelenting. But her silence was worse than any confession. It carved into me, tearing at whatever fragile thread was left holding us together. I hadn't meant to ask it tonight. I hadn't meant to let the suspicion that had been gnawing at me spill into words. But for weeks now, something had been off. A distance I couldn't name, but could feel. She smiled less. Her phone never left her side. And when she kissed me, it felt rehearsed, like she was acting in a play she no longer believed in. At first, I told myself it was work. She was stressed, tired, stretched thin. But denial is just self-preservation in disguise. And I wore like armor until it cracked under the weight of her late-night errands, her sudden need to stay at the office, her distracted eyes when I spoke. I started noticing details I had once ignored. The way she flinched when I reached for her phone. The faint trace of cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her blouse. The way she laughed, freely, genuinely, when she texted, a sound she hadn't shared with me in months. Each clue built on the last, stacking into a wall I couldn't climb over. That night, lying in bed with her so close yet impossibly far, the question escaped me before I could stop it. "Do you love him?" Her body stiffened. She didn't turn. She didn't speak. And in her silence, I had my answer. I pulled myself up, sitting on the edge of the bed, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. "You could at least say something," I muttered, my voice cracking. Finally, she whispered, "I don't know." I closed my eyes, a bitter laugh slipping from me. "You don't know? You're supposed to be my wife, Anna, the woman who promised me forever." Her voice trembled. I didn't mean for it to happen. Those words, careless, unintentional, but devastating, sliced deeper than I expected. She wasn't denying it. She wasn't fighting for us. She was admitting what I already feared. "How long?" I asked. She turned then, her face barely visible in the shadows. Her lips parted, but no sound came. That hesitation, that pause, told me everything. "Months," I said for her, my chest hollowing out. "It's been months, hasn't it?" Tears welled in her eyes, glistening faintly in the dim light. "I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered. I stood, the floor cold beneath my bare feet, grounding me as the room spun. "You didn't want to hurt me? Anna, every night you lied. Every time you looked at me and told me you loved me, you stabbed me in the back." My voice shook with anger I could barely contain. "You chose him, even while sleeping in my bed." She sat up, clutching the blanket, like it could shield her from the truth. "It wasn't like that." "Don't." I snapped, my hands balled into fists at my sides, not from the urge to hurt her, but from the sheer effort of keeping myself from shattering completely. "You had choices, Anna, and you made them." Silence wrapped around us again, thick and suffocating. I stared at her, at the woman I thought I knew, the woman who once held my hand, like it was the only one she ever wanted. Now she couldn't even look me in the eye. I felt something inside me break, not a sharp snap, but a slow, painful tearing, like fabric being pulled apart thread by thread. And I knew then that there was no patching it back together. I walked to the closet, grabbed a small bag, and began stuffing clothes into it. My hands shook, but my decision was steady. She watched, her tears spilling freely now. "Where are you going?" she asked, her voice barely more than a breath. "Somewhere you're not," I said coldly. I zipped the bag, slung it over my shoulder, and paused at the doorway. My chest ached, my throat burned, but my words came out clear. "You gave him your love. You gave him your trust. But you'll never get another chance to give me your lies." Her sobs followed me down the hall, but I didn't look back, because the man who walked out that night was not the same man who had once walked into her life with hope in his eyes. He was broken, yes, but broken things don't always beg to be fixed. Sometimes they learn to let go, and as the front door closed behind me, I realized the silence that had once crushed me now felt like freedom.